All right, it is 7 p.m. Eastern. We are going to get started with session 2 of the It's All in Me book talk, where it all began. You all have had the opportunity to follow along with me on this journey of exploring the freedom framework in my book, It's All in Me, My Journey to Freedom and Living Abundantly. And even if this is your first session, it is a-okay. We have a week to get caught up. You can read a chapter a day and get caught up, and you will be absolutely fine. But I first want to say thank you for joining me. Thank you for following along on this journey. Like I said, even if this is your first session, welcome, welcome, welcome. You will be enriched, you will be empowered, you will be encouraged during these sessions. So even if you missed the last session, it is here on the YouTube channel. Yes, it is here on the YouTube channel at Jaleesa the Golden Child, where you can catch up and watch the replay. We had a very what's the word I'm looking for? A very productive and empowering conversation last week. This week we will be diving into chapter 2. But before I do that, just remember these sessions are every single Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern until December 17th. I wanted to end this before the holidays so that you all can focus on implementing this freedom framework as you embark on the holiday season. Well, of course, Thanksgiving, but Christmas and preparing for the new year. So I just want to say again, thank you for joining. I appreciate you tremendously. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know where you are from in our comments in the chat section, whether you're here on Zoom or here on YouTube. Drop in the chat. Let us know where you're from, what you do, and what you hope to gain or bring to this session today. Even if you're catching a replay, make sure to introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know where you're from, what you do, and what you hope to gain or bring to this session. I would love, love, love to hear from you. And if you're over on YouTube, make sure that you share this video, like, subscribe, and share my other content. I've been on this journey more recently of working on monetizing my YouTube channel, building another income stream so that I can continue to provide for my children as a single mom and continue to be able to stay home with them, so that we can continue to build the life of our dreams and our desires. So it's free to support, like, comment, subscribe, share. All of those things are free. Please support my journey to monetization. I'm actually working inside of a 12-week program that I'm mentoring for, and I've set the milestone to systemize. And my phone needs to be charged. Let me grab my charger cord, flip this around so that I can charge it. Check and see what I look like. It's been a very, very, very busy day today, so I completely forgot to charge my phone. I've had calls back to back today. And of course, being a single mom, my children always need me. But the 12-week program, I have set the milestone to, there we go. I set the milestone. Let me check and make sure you guys can hear me. That would really suck. But the 12-week program. Okay, yes, you all can hear me. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Let me check and see over here. There we go. All right. And we're but the 12-week program, I set a milestone today actually to focus on strategizing, automating, tracking and sharing my journey with monetizing my YouTube page. So stay tuned for probably shorts about that journey, behind the scenes information on what I've been doing, and how to do it with ease. This is not something that I want to take hours and hours of my day or my week. So that is one reason why the events that I'm having, I'm live streaming to YouTube. So that is a little bit about what's been going on. I did have some amazing connect calls today, some new partnerships that will be in the works that I'm super excited about. I have another one tomorrow. I did just complete the onboarding for my first cohort of mentoring with NASDAQ Centers Milestone Circles program, and it was an amazing experience. So this week has been busy, full of ups and downs, but I am here tonight with you all. Thank you so much for joining. Let's get into it. Okay, I'm gonna try to keep this down to 30 minutes, and it is 7:06 right now, so we are making good time. Who am I? I am Minister Jaleesa Hardy, HHP. I am a child of Yahuwah, aka God. I am also known as Jaleesa, the Golden Child. And if you want to know more about where that came from, go to my website, jaleesahardy.com. I am the co-organizer for the Mental Wealth Social, where you might be watching this in the Zoom. I am a survivor and single mother of three. My children are currently 5, 4, and 2 as of today. I'm a global speaker and trauma of money certified practitioner, or professional. I'm a board certified holistic health practitioner, human design expert, Reiki master. I am a publisher. I do own a publishing company where I support others with self-publishing their books. I provide DIY services, done with you services, and done for you services, from the ghostwriting all the way up to the launch party and the marketing plan. I am a self-published author of It's All in Me, My Journey to Freedom and Living Abundantly, and I am preparing to start writing edition 2 of It's All in Me, so stay tuned for that. And the author of the 30-Day Calm Life Planner. I have degrees in biology, general chemistry, and natural health. I'm a poet, singer, and songwriter for the Voices of Survival Choir in Howard County with Hope Works of Howard County. I was born in Buffalo, New York, but currently live in Glen Burnie, Maryland, and I am a doula in training. Take a deep breath with me. But at the end of the day, there's only one me. I am just Jaleesa, and I, just like you, am a puzzle piece that the world needs. So, walking and being my most authentic self, showing up here in spaces like this, doing the things that God has called me to do, is making the world a better place. So, for you, if you are struggling to figure out your purpose, struggling to figure out your calling, your purpose and your calling is to be you. Your most authentic self is exactly what the world needs. Your experiences, your challenges, your flaws, the love that you have to give, your personality, everything about you, every detail of who you are is exactly what the world needs. So stand on that, stand in that, walk in that, and know that you are exactly as you're meant to be. All right. So that's a little bit about me, a little encouragement for you. Upcoming events, we had our, I have to update this, our group journaling session on the 15th, and we have our next one on November 29th. Today is our second book talk, and we will continue to have these every single Tuesday until December 17th. November 21st is the Grief Circle for Melanated Women, hosted by Black Girls Grieve. And this Friday, I am so excited. I'm so excited about it. She's Ready Society meet and greet and mini healing experience. Okay. This is an opportunity for you to really get an inside look, inside scoop on what we are doing in She's Ready Society. If you are an aspiring author of a book, a coloring book, a ebook, audiobook, cookbook, anything like that, then come to the She's Ready Society meet and greet and really get a feel for the holistic experience you have when you are a part of She's Ready Society and the Golden Child Publishing Co. All right. So that is this Friday. And on Sunday, I am also, as I mentioned, the organizer for Single Mom Society here in meetup.com. And we have a monthly support social where we come together as single moms to really check in, celebrate each other, encourage one another, and vent about our challenges as single moms. Okay, so definitely share that with your friend. If you're a single mom, please join us because I want to continue to grow this group and be of more support to single moms. Okay, what we offer here at the Golden Child, a lot of different things. We have free offers, low cost offers, medium cost offers, and high cost offers. It's a range of things to provide accessibility to those that desire to work with us, whether it's publishing, whether it's self-discovery, whether it's healing, whether it's just really wanting to explore and understand and heal their relationship with money. I have something for just about everyone. I have a passion for women and specifically mompreneurs, but there's something here for everyone. The Heal Money movement in particular is a new occurrence, a membership that God led me to create after an experience with fraud on my account and just being able to see how much I've grown in my relationship with money and in my healing journey overall, to be able to send prayers and healing energy to the person who stole from me. Um, so that experience and just getting quiet and asking God, okay, what lesson do you have for me to learn from this? What is it that you have for me to get from this? And the Healed Money movement was born as I sat and got quiet about the experience. It's $22 a month or $222 for a year with bonuses for both. You can go to www.jaleesahardy.com/healed money movement so that you can check it out and see what else will be included in that membership, what else is included in that membership. As I mentioned, my books, It's All in Me, My Journey to Freedom and Living Abundantly, and the 30-Day Calm Life Planner. We have a free From Manuscript to Masterpiece, the pros and cons of self-publishing guide. She's Ready Society, as I mentioned, is specifically for women that are aspiring authors or authors that desire to just build a community around what they're doing with their books and speaking careers. You are able to get a human design chart. I mentioned I'm a human design expert. You're able to get your free human design chart from our website, along with some other low cost reports. And then, of course, we have our book talk, which will continue to until December 17th. And I may do another one for this book, or I may just wait until the second edition and then do another book talk, but we'll see how God leads. This month I also did the How to Self-Publish with Ease masterclass. It is a guide to self-publishing and my 4P formula that will support you with shifting and improving your mindset when it comes to preparing to self-publish with ease. And then if you just want to get a feel for working with me and with the publishing side of things, book your birthday book consultation call so that we can have a conversation and we can see if we're a good match for each other and really get a full understanding for how we can work together. Okay. All of these things are on my website, jaleesahardy.com. And if you have any questions, email me hello@jaleesahardy.com as well. All right. So if any of these things feel aligned, click the link on jaleesahardy.com or type in the link and let's get started. Let's continue this journey together of healing, wholeness, and financial freedom. Okay. As I mentioned about the Birth Your Book consultation, the Healed Money movement, and She's Ready Society. Just a little bit more about She's Ready Society. It is a community that offers the support, resources, and tools necessary to navigate the unique challenges of entrepreneurship, motherhood, and empowering you to not only write your book and build wealth, but also to create the fulfilling life you envision and deserve. Okay, so it's time for you to discover what it feels like to be supported and uplifted in a community that understands your unique challenges and goals. Join us today, jaleesahardy.com/SRF. All right. And last week, we went over the introduction and chapter 1 of the book. And chapter 1 is on faith. The questions that we discussed any insights from the chapter, as well as the discussion questions. What role has faith played in your life's journey so far? And how do you stay grounded in your beliefs even when facing challenges? Okay, so if you missed it, go back and watch the replay of session 1 so that you can give us a response to these questions in the chat. Okay. And as a reminder, at the end of each chapter, there are additional reflection questions that you can do in between the sessions. Question and answer. We talked about feedback, and then your home play. I don't like to call it homework. Was to read chapter 2. So chapter 2 is about family and friends, and with the revamp and renewing of the Freedom Framework, I've changed this to fellowship because it just flows better for me. And I love the word fellowship. So you'll see, stay tuned for edition 2 and how the Freedom Framework shifts and changes and has evolved throughout these past 6 years. Yeah, since 2018, when I first self-published this book. All right, today we are discussing chapter 2, family and friends. And one of the biggest takeaways as I was rereading this chapter yesterday was the scripture, the focus scripture in Ecclesiastes, talking about the triple stranded cord not being easily broken. When you are strengthened first by God and the people around you, it makes life so much easier when things happen, when you fall, when situations occur, to be able to lean on someone else and not just yourself, not just your own strength, not just your own insight, not just your own wisdom and knowledge, but truly being supported in challenging times, in times of celebration, times of positivity. There is someone there to do life with you. We are not meant to do life alone. We are not meant to do life in solitude. So when we find our community, when we find the people in our lives that are there to uplift and encourage, and the relationships are reciprocal, it makes life so much easier and so much more amazing when you have other people to be of support to and for them to support you. So that was the biggest takeaway for me as I was rereading this chapter, and how much support I've had throughout my life. Man, I've been so blessed to connect with so many people throughout my lifetime, whether it was friends, family members, mentors, coaches, other entrepreneurs, other moms, other women, other men, like just amazing people that have contributed to my life in some way, and I've contributed to their life in some way. Yes, we've had quote unquote negative experiences in relationships, but even those experiences, if we sit back and really think and assess, those were opportunities for growth. Those were opportunities for us to learn and evolve and ensure that we don't go through those same situations and have those same types of relationships moving forward. So the first question, so those were just insights and takeaways from the chapter that I got as I was rereading it yesterday. So the discussion question: how have family and friends influenced your growth and choices? And for me, I have, and you can drop them in the chat. Let me check YouTube to see if anybody has dropped anything in the chat. You can drop these answers in the chat of your response to how have family and friends influenced your growth and choices. And for me, I have always been considered a rebel. So to an extent, I would say more so subconsciously, my family and friends have influenced my growth and my choices because I have always been the type to kind of be like just the one to be the trailblazer, the one. Okay, boo, no problem. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you. Um, I've been the one to kind of be the trailblazer, the one to be the influencer versus the one that's been intentionally or like I couldn't necessarily tell that I was being influenced. So for me, it's been a subconscious thing that my family and friends have influenced my growth and my choices because like I said, I'm usually the influencer and the one that's the trailblazer and the one that's the rebel that just does what I want when I want. But I will say I can be very stuck on, like, if I have this idea that I'm going to do something, whether good, bad, or indifferent. Once I set my mind on something, I'm going to do it. And then I'll probably check in, like, oh, what did you think about that? Or if I do check in, or if people do give me like feedback on something and I don't like it, I probably will like have an attitude for a little while and then come back and be like, oh, you were right. You was right on that. You was right. But we have to be very mindful and very intentional about the people that we have around us because they do influence us, whether subconsciously or consciously. They are influencing us every single day. I heard this, and I'm pretty sure you probably heard it too. We are the average of the 5 people that we spend the most time with, and I talked about that in this chapter as well. So when you really look and assess the 5 people that you spend the most time with and where they are in life, look at your life and see how they have impacted and influenced you, your growth and your choices. The more we do this work to assess and really shift and make adjustments in our relationships, we'll start to grow and make better choices because we are being influenced whether we feel like we are or not. So just really thinking about how has your family and your friends influenced your growth and your choices. Malika, I don't know if you can come off mute, but if you can answer that question.
The way my friends and family influence my growth, I think honestly, I in the beginning stages, I would say it wasn't always positive. And then when I got to just, I would say following my own intuition, following my own path, it kind of got better. Like they gave me what they could give me. And there are a lot of times when they was telling me things and it was great and I just was hard headed. But they made me a strong individual. They they didn't really know so much, so they did the best that they could.
Mm-hmm.
And the strength I have today, I give it all to them for a lot because they held me down, but they also broke me down, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, they were rough. Um, However, now that we've all been in counseling, they are better and we are stronger than we once ever was. So, and nobody's being negative. So I
Yeah.
think that is a good thing now as to before. No, you can't do this or you can't do that. Can you call your sister? You can't do this or you can't do that enough. And I have to say, this wouldn't be family. This would be my friends, I guess, would be you, of course, my mentor. You've given me a lot of inspiration. And especially without even knowing me. So I think that is great. And I have a great support system from you and my God. God has been a real rock. My children has been a rock. My wife has been a rock. And I'm just blessed. And I just want to say thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. I appreciate you for appreciating me. Like it literally makes my day to know and just continue to be reminded of the impact that I'm making on people's lives. Because it's easy to focus on the income, it's easy to focus on the outcome, but a lot of times we don't realize the value and the impact that we make on people's lives. So you reminded me of that regularly. Like it really helps to keep me going. So I appreciate you, boo. Were there any insights or takeaways from the chapter? Did you get the chance to read chapter 2?
I was reading it on my way to my baby's basketball game, and I couldn't read it all, right? But let me tell you something. Is she okay? Oh, Jaleesa, I gotta come on. I gotta
Okay.
come off that first.
Yeah, so just let me know. Just come off mute when you can. But yeah, it's an amazing thing when you have a support system, people around you that pour into you, that love on you, that are there for you in hard times. No, okay. And can watch your kids when you got stuff to do. Okay, didn't I tell you not to come up here? Um, so yeah, family and friends, just the people that we spend our time with is very important when it comes to our journey of freedom. One of my coaches, and I talk about it in this chapter of the book, is that freedom requires friends. And when I say friends, when she said friends, she said, I'm not just talking about, friendships. I'm talking about the people that you come across in your life, whether family, friends, acquaintances, that will support you in your journey to freedom. We are not meant, and I will say this probably over and over again, we are not meant to do life alone. One of my coaches, my financial coach, she reminded me just how much we depend on other people without even recognizing or realizing it. Because we depend on people every single day, even if we feel like, oh, I'm doing it alone. But we depend on people every single day at our jobs. We depend on them to be able to cut our paycheck. Okay, keep the business open so that they can cut the paycheck. We depend on the light companies to keep the lights on, to do their job on their end to make sure that the lights and the electricity is flowing. We depend on the people that come and pick up the trash to make sure that our trash gets taken away. Like we are dependent on people every single day. It is meant for us. Life in the world is designed for us to depend and support each other, whether we recognize or realize it or not. So the second question is, what boundaries, if any, have you found necessary to maintain healthy relationships? And this one for me, boundaries, y'all, has been a hard lesson to really learn and really continue to implement. But I realized once I became a mother just how important boundaries are, because kids, they want something from you all day, every day. Okay, all day, every day. They want something from you. Okay, they needy as crap, always asking for something. And if you don't set boundaries, you will be drained and burnt out in your experience with motherhood. So now, even with my kids being 5, 4, and 2, I let them know mommy needs time to herself. These are mommy snacks. These are your snacks. This is mommy's drink. This is your drink. No, you cannot drink off my water jug. You have your own. But they always want your stuff. Okay. And I have been very intentional about setting and keeping these boundaries with them so that they'll know and grow up to be able to set boundaries and have boundaries of their own. I don't want my kids to grow up and feel like they got to give everything to everybody else and have nothing left for themselves. So for me, my boundary has been learning and incorporating things into my life that ensure that I am filling myself up, not just to the brim, but to the overflow, so that I'm giving from the overflow and keeping what's in my cup for me, so that it's never a time where I'm depleted to the point where I'm burnt out or overwhelmed or stressed out, because I have my cup filled up and overflowing, giving from my overflow. Once the overflow is gone, I don't have no more to give. Okay. Because what's in my cup is for me. And if people have issues with that, if they have issues with your boundary, if they have issues with you saying no, then it's obviously time for them to exit stage left, or for you to exit stage left out of their life. because people who do not have boundaries are not capable of respecting your boundaries. So if you find in a relationship that someone cannot respect your boundaries, tell them go in peace. You go in peace, because dealing with people who have no boundaries and continue to disrespect your boundaries is only going to leave you depleted and burnt out in that relationship. Those are the friends and the people that when they call you, like, what do you want now? Why are you calling me? What do you want? Those are the people that constantly are asking you for stuff, constantly calling you, constantly texting you, constantly, I want, I need, can you, da 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 da. But as soon as you say, can you XYZ for me, it's crickets. They moving slow. They moving funny. They acting weird. They don't have it. And it's like, wow, all those times I was there for you, not to say that, you constantly looking for tit for tat, going back and forth, but can you be there for me sometimes? Like, if you can't be there for me sometimes and all the time I've been there for you, that's not the type of relationship that I want to have. So for me, in relationships, having boundaries where I know my limits and I know how much I have to give, and when I don't have it, I'm not trying to overexert and overgive just for the sake of keeping this person around or pleasing this person. I'm no longer in a place where I am choosing other people over myself. Because when I do that, that's when I start to be resentful and frustrated and overwhelmed and burnt out in my relationships, because people are going to choose them. They're going to choose themselves over me. So if I don't choose myself over other people, then they're the only ones benefiting from the relationship. And it's not selfish to choose you first. It's not selfish to put yourself first. Whether it's a intimate relationship, a relationship with your kids, a relationship with a friend, like, it's not selfish to put yourself first in those relationships, in any relationship, except for God, of course. He got to come first. He got to come first. But yeah, just realizing the importance of boundaries and really understanding that sometimes it's trial and error. Sometimes, in allowing yourself to be flexible with your boundaries in different relationships, different situations, and in different seasons of your life. Because sometimes, a boundary might be necessary in one relationship that's not necessary in another relationship. So being open and being flexible in your boundaries with the different relationships and the different seasons. Because sometimes, it's a season, a lighter season in your life where you don't have as many responsibilities or you don't have as much on your plate, where you can be a little, more open with your boundaries, and other seasons where you might have a bunch of stuff on your plate where you got to be a lot more strict with your boundaries. So just being intentional about checking in with yourself in the season that you're in the situation and relationship that you're in, so that you can be flexible and open with your boundaries. So yeah, did you want to answer? Were you able to answer that question, Malika?
Yes, I can answer it. What boundaries, if any? So I came to realize that growing up, I didn't have any boundaries. I don't think it was taught to us to have boundaries. And now that I am growing into my spirituality, my faith, and things of that nature, and I say boundaries in every relationship. I tell everybody you have to set boundaries. But what do you do when you don't know how to set boundaries to a certain degree, or your boundaries are being crossed? So one that I've learned that within my family is they like to gossip. And they will call me and be like, Malika, da, 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 da. And I literally have to tell them, I don't want to hear it. I remember an instance where my sister was trying to gossip to me. She was like, girl, I got some tea. And I was like, girl, I don't want to hear it. And she like, girl, you don't want to hear it? I'm like, no, I don't want to hear it. Because it has nothing to do with me. I don't want to know. She just goes to say, well, I'm going to tell mommy because mommy going to tell you. Are you serious? I just told you I don't want to hear it. And you're going to tell me you're going to tell our mom so she could tell me. So that's what she did. And then my mom called me later on that day. She's like, Girl, let me tell you this. I said, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to know. Such and such already told me you was going to call me. I don't want to know. You sure you want to know? No. Do you know she tried to tell me it the other day? And this was months ago. She still tried to tell me, I said, Ma, I don't want to know it. So gossiping between each other, no. That is one of my ones I'm working on heavily. Also, not really caring what other people think. I'm setting a boundary with that because people try to make you feel guilty about something that you don't accept or don't want to do. They try to turn around and make you feel guilty about it and make you feel bad about it. And I'm not doing that anymore. So that is a boundary. Having the way people talk to me is out the window. If you're trying to be nasty, I'm cutting you off. I don't care. I think the most boundaries I need to set is with my children.
Yeah.
However, they are really good kids, so it's not really too much to do that. So that's something I've worked on too, but mostly boundaries within myself. I don't know how to take time off from being Malika in general, overall, as a human being to everyone else.
Yeah.
So I need to set boundaries for me and stop working on trying to save everybody else.
Yeah,
So
that's a good point about setting boundaries with yourself. Like remember, like you gotta set boundaries with yourself because it's so easy for us to be in all the things and going along with what society says or how society says we're supposed to live our lives, hustling and grinding and constantly on go, 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 go when our body is telling us to rest. That is how we learn to set boundaries by sitting still with ourselves and knowing how somebody's energy feels, how we feel after an experience, how we feel during an experience to know like this is not someone I want to be around or this is not someone or something that I want to continue to do when you're setting boundaries with yourself to say like, oh, when I don't work out, then this is how my body feels. And that's why it's necessary for me to set the boundary of, okay, let me make sure that I'm getting my 15 to 20 to 30 minutes of movement in a day so that I can continue to feel positive and move this energy around, this stagnant energy, and sometimes the energy that we pick up from other people and other places. When we are not intentional about sitting with ourselves and checking in with ourselves, that's when we miss when boundaries are needed. When we don't know how something makes us feel or how something impacts or affects us, that's when we miss the need for a boundary. That's when we miss, even like you were saying, like I don't like to hear gossip. I don't like to hear you talking about other people. I don't want to hear that. If you didn't take the time to sit with yourself to see like, ooh, when they gossip, I don't like the way that feels. That's how you know, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and set this boundary with people around me to know, don't come to me with the gossip. Don't come to me with the tea because I don't want to know. If you're not celebrating somebody, if you're not pouring into somebody, if you're not bringing positivity to somebody's life, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it. Like they say, misery loves company. I don't want to be company with you or misery. So if you come to me with gossip,
Amen.
I'm gonna tell you, we can go ahead and end this conversation now. If you want to continue to try to tell me something that I don't want to hear, don't be upset when I hang the phone up. Because people will continue
You,
to try
you said that, baby. Let me tell you something. I did read some of the book, and one thing I really gained from the beginning of it is that what I don't do is I don't sit and be still enough. I don't sit and be still. Like I don't sit and talk to God as much as I need to as being still. I talk to God when I'm doing a whole bunch of things. But that is what I took from your chapter in the first chapter. Because yes, I need to do that. And it's funny because I was talking to my wife about distractions. And as soon as I said I got a lot of distractions, you said in your book, you may have to eliminate distractions, cell phone, buying things, people, this, that. And I was just like, okay, God, I see you. I hear you. Okay, Jaleesa, we working. Okay, I heard it. I received the message. And this week, I was very distracted. Since the 7th, I was very distracted. And now I'm back on the course. And thank you for giving the confirmation, girl.
You are so welcome. I'm glad it was an on-time word. But that's the thing. When it comes to distractions, that is the way the enemy distracts us from our purpose. That is the way he keeps us from doing the work of our calling. That is the way he keeps us away from the positive things in our lives that are going well. When you got chaos going on around you, when you got drama going on around you, when you got experiences happening around you that you know that are just like, look, I'm over it. I'm done. Like I literally like this week has been a very challenging week, but choosing to focus on the things that nourish me, choosing to focus on the purpose work that God has called me to do, choosing to focus on the positive people and the things that are going well in my life have kept me from staying in that place where I'm laying on the floor crying for hours and hours and hours. I did. Okay. It was like 20 minutes. I did lay on the floor and cry for like 20 minutes. But then I started to take some deep breaths and I started to remind myself of the things that are coming into my life is just an opportunity for me to learn, an opportunity for me to level up, and an opportunity for me to have a testimony to share with somebody else of how I've overcome a situation and circumstance in my life. So nothing at all that happens in our lives is by happenstance. Even the distractions that might come, they are messages to say, okay, like what is it about this thing that even has my attention? The only thing, the things that can distract you are things that you have some type of desire for. There's something that this thing is filling a void for. So when you can sit back and say, why is this thing distracting me? What is it fulfilling for me? What void is it filling for me? You can sit back and see, okay, instead of this thing, I can replace it with this thing and get that void filled in a positive and a productive way. So, like I said, everything that happens, even if it's a distraction, don't ignore it. Don't just try to suppress it or move it to the side. Sit down with yourself, check in with yourself to see, like, oh, why is this even a thing? Why is this a distraction? Why is this a temptation for me? Because it's a message, it's something there that you can shift and change if you sit and take the time to really analyze and see why is it even there? Why is it even a distraction? Why is it even a temptation? So I'm glad that that was supportive for you. Was there anything else based off of this chapter of family and friends that you wanted to share?
Give me 1 second. I gotta go to the note.
I didn't hear what you said.
I said, give me 1 second. I gotta go to my note.
Okay.
I was taking some notes. So give me 1 second. I'm coming right back, Jaleesa.
Okay. Yeah, but just really taking the time, like the reason why I wanted to do this book talk, I originally had the idea in the beginning when I first self-published this book, but a lot of it has to do with one, supporting the people that watch these or the people that attend these with really understanding and knowing how to implement the freedom framework into their lives, how to really be supported by their family and friends and know what it feels like or what it looks like to set boundaries with themselves or with other people, and really what it looks like to have faith and implement faith into their lives in order to be a little bit more free each and every day. It's not like it's going to be overnight. It's not like it's just going to happen in an instant. Yes, it can. Sometimes things can sometimes happen in an instant, but it's still over time that things shift and change and grow. So just being patient with the process, being patient with your journey of freedom and abundance, and knowing your journey is different from everybody else's. So you don't have to compare yourself or your journey to freedom and abundance with anyone else's, because you literally today I was working through some energetic stuff and I realized that the gap between where I am and where I want to be is only because of my beliefs. When I stopped to realize, like, I am where I want to be, even though there are things that I want to improve, things that I want to grow, things that I want to shift and change, the gap between where I am and where I want to be is here. It's all here. It's in my belief. It's in my perception of where I am and where I want to go. Yes, I'm always going to be leveling up. I'm always going to be shifting, changing, adjusting, and growing. But when I can be present and understand that I am exactly where I'm supposed to be in this moment, in this time. I literally only have the present. So when I can focus on being present and embracing and surrendering to the moment, that's when I'm really and truly walking in freedom and abundance, because all we have is now. Go ahead, Malika.
I skimmed a little bit, but I noticed that you were saying that sometimes it's easy. It's not basically it's not easy to let go of relationships, and then sometimes we tend to go back to relationships that we once left. Sometimes there's a season, and when we have that season with friends, even with family, sometimes we have to remove ourselves, and it can be hard. It can be. I know numerous times where I broke relationships with people, and I went back to being friends with them, and it wound up being disrespectful all over again. Relationships definitely went back and back and back and back. And eventually is when I chose to pick myself.
Mm-hmm.
I picked me. And I think that was the best thing. And then learning from that, I was able to teach my kids that too. That sometimes you have to just walk away. And yes, things may hurt. And you go through that. You grieve it, you go through it, you work through it. And I go through workshops, I go through webinars, and I read a whole bunch of books so that I can teach them those things as well. Because holding on to people that don't do you no justice, do you no good for the both of you guys, sake, is just wasted time. And I
Yep.
don't know if it's wasted time, but that's the only words I can think of because it's like, you know, this person is no good. And God shows you. So, like you said, sometimes it's a season and it has to change.
Yep. It's not most of the relationships and the people that we come across are only for a season or a reason. There are very few people that will go the long haul, the lifetime with us in our relationships, even family members. The more we are able to release people into their season and into the completion of that relationship, the easier it will be to be open to receive those lifetime relationships, and the easier it will be to receive the lessons and the blessings from relationships, because we're not holding on to history. We're not holding on to this amount of time. We're not holding on to, okay, I invested this into this relationship. It is a-okay to let people go. It is a-okay to understand that a relationship has completed its season, has completed its time, that you've received your lesson and they've received their blessing from that relationship, so that you can move forward and be open for the next relationship, to be open for the next friendship, to be open for the next intimate relationship. Because that was my thing. Like, I would hold on to guys that I knew were no good for me, because okay, I'm gonna go into this new relationship and I'm gonna still have my little joint on the side, my ex on the side that I know is quote unquote old faithful. But when you do that, you are blocking out your experience and not really truly experiencing, like I said, being present in your relationship with people, because you're so focused on, oh, if this don't work out, I'm gonna go ahead and go back to this person. And that, for me, I really feel like is why I went through so many relationships, so many situationships, because I was always had the one in the pocket, one or two in the pocket to say, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and, if this don't work out, I'm good because I got another one. But I rarely gave myself the time to heal. I rarely gave myself the time to sit still and just be with myself. I would say all the time, I don't like being single. I don't like being by myself. I don't like not having somebody there. But when I went through my divorce and I was single for almost 3 years, that was the most peace I've had probably ever in my life, besides now. Because I wasn't worried about nobody's son. I wasn't worried about nobody's nephew. I wasn't worried about nobody's grand. I wasn't worried about nobody, what they was doing or not doing. I was focused on me. I was focused on my healing. I was focused on really understanding and loving myself, which is a continuous journey. And you can do that in relationship or outside a relationship, but it's so much easier when you give yourself time to heal in between relationships, so that you can really stop and take the time to assess and address the things that may have gone right, the things that may have gone wrong, the things that you could have changed, the things that you could have done differently in your relationship. So for me now, it's like, look, I'm okay being by myself. I'm okay being single because it gives me time to learn me. It gives me time to enjoy me. It gives me time to heal from life. It don't even have to be from relationships. We have stuff going on that we need to heal from in our lives outside of intimate relationships. So for me, realizing and knowing that, you know what, it's okay that relationships they end, that their season is over. It is okay because we will continue to encounter people. We will continue to build relationships. We will continue to make connections with people in our lives that we'll be able to pour into and that they'll be able to pour into us. So when we can accept that relationships, most relationships are not meant to be lifetime relationships, we start to look at relationships differently. And we start to be more open to seeing and being present in the moment of a relationship, to say whether it's a month, a year, 5 years, there's there's a moment when a lot in most of our relationships will be complete. And that's okay. So
Mhm. And I want to say that I think especially in a lot of communities, we're not taught to just deal with that. I think what we were taught, I know in the Black community, you just get up under another one. That is what's taught to us. Like, okay, that one hurt you. You just find somebody else to replace it. And it's like you pass on so much soul ties, and people don't think that is true. And it is very true because, baby, I be telling my son that because he be talking about girl, girl, girl. I said, let me tell you something. When you sleep with one, you sleep with the rest.
girl, that's in this chapter. That's in this
I
chapter.
know, I know, and I've been saying that for a very long time. But it's funny because once I started reading, especially the Bible, I started realizing that I am enough. I didn't have to talk to all these people. I didn't have to do that to see my worth. But I understood because it was nature versus nurture.
Yeah.
And my lifestyle and the way I was brought up very impacted how I am as growing up as a woman, being a teenage mom early, having 3 kids at the age of 23. So it's like I get it and I understand it. And now I'm grateful that I am blessed to just be able to sit here and just have this conversation with you. To be able to know that even though I did all these things, there was nothing wrong with me, and the past is the past. And people judging you, yeah, that's okay. So I let me tell you something, Jaleesa. I cut a lot of family members off too. A lot. A lot. A lot. And going to the gathering that we had, I came to realize I don't have no family really because of so much toxicity. And at first I was feeling bad. And then when I went to where I went to yesterday, God reminded me why I cut a lot of people off because it wasn't healthy. It wasn't healthy. So this chapter is good, and I'm really going to get more into depth because you know what I was going through all week. But in the beginning of it, when you started, I don't know how to say that chapter in the Bible. What is it? It started with E.
Ecclesiastes.
Baby, that chapter. Oh yes. Oh
Mm-hmm.
yes. It tell you some things between Proverbs, Job, and this one. It's gonna shift. In your book, is baby, you is opening some doors I knew I had, but I didn't know how to open. So keep doing it, and you got it. Keep doing it.
Thank you, Boo. I appreciate you. Yeah, that just that one scripture, you like, ooh, yeah, yeah. Let me be more intentional about my relationships because when you get caught up with the wrong people and you down and they ain't doing nothing but kicking you when you down, you like, oh yeah, let me let me get myself together because this is not the triple strand cord that I need to be tying myself up to. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, get into this chapter. Get into this chapter. Get prepared for the next. session. But this thing, when it comes to relationships, building relationships, boundaries, when you that's the reason why faith in, this chapter was the second chapter, because life is about relationships. That's really what it comes down to at the end of life. Like, the most important thing is your relationship with God, your relationship with yourself, and your relationship with others. Because at the end of your time, you're not gonna be thinking about the money, you're not gonna be thinking about the house, you're not gonna be thinking about none of that. You're gonna be thinking about being surrounded by your loved ones. You're gonna be thinking about leaving a legacy for your loved ones, being able to connect and continue to build and sustain relationships with the people that you love and the people that love you. And so when we can be intentional now about our faith and about our relationships with other people and ourselves, it makes life so much easier. And that's why it's chapter 1 and 2 of the book. So it just continues to build on our freedom journey. Freedom requires faith. Freedom requires friends. So when we can get into that, the rest of it becomes easy. So, any last takeaways from this session, for this session?
Just continue setting boundaries. Be still and just live in the present. Live in the present, because when you live in the past or you live in the future, you'll miss everything that's happening right now, and you'll miss years because you're chasing something that God has already put in place for you. So you just got to continue just to follow the path and be still.
Yes, I love it. Faith tells us that it's already done. Our friends and our family are there to see the works of God's hands that is He's doing in our lives and be able to add to it, not take away from it. So thank you so much for joining session 2 of the book talk. Next week we will be going over. We did talk about that. The home plate is to read chapter 3, and there's a video on forgiveness that I need to drop in the chat, actually, because this video, when I tell you it shifted my perspective on forgiveness, y'all, it literally shifted some things for me on forgiveness. So let me go ahead and drop this link in the chat. But next week, we will be talking about forgiveness and my journey with forgiveness and how it has shifted, changed, and evolved, because I don't know where I would be without forgiveness. I don't know how I would have overcome the things that I've overcome without forgiving people and forgiving myself. Let me see. So take a look at this video. The video is about 30 minutes long, but of course on YouTube, you can put it at 1.5, 1.75, 2, whatever the case may be. But this right here, that video is a good one. It's definitely a good one. Let me make sure I didn't went over everything. And we'll do our giveaway. We do have a giveaway for this. Once we get to the end, I will send out a feedback form. And once you fill it out, if you enter your email address, you will be entered in a giveaway for some of our exciting prizes. But that is all I have. I want to say, as always, just remember that I love you. I see you, and I'm so proud of you just for being you. Remember, you are valuable. You are worthy just as you are. You were born valuable. You were born worthy. Just the things that you do is an expression of that value. It cannot add or take away from your value or your worth, because you were born that way. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. Make sure that you like, comment, share, subscribe, all those things on YouTube as I continue my journey of monetizing my YouTube page. As always, have a good night.
Good night.
That's a good comment. I need to stop this room. Oh, duh. Because I streamed it from here.